In this video, you're going to learn how to change your entire life in just 1 week. No, I'm not exaggerating, and yes, this is going to require effort. Fast change requires effort, but it's going to be very fast. I'll start by sharing how I achieved that, and then I'll share you the framework that can allow you to do this repeatedly with any skill you want. Let's start with some backstory. Several years ago, that was pre-COVID, ages ago, millennia ago, I was walking a ton every single day. I just liked walking. Even if I was at the office, I was just doing circles in the room. All of that changed massively when COVID started. Not necessarily because I couldn't walk, but because I started with content creation. And I got so obsessed about content creation that I kind of forgot that I loved walking so much. 2 years later, now my baseline of how much I could walk was really low. So I was not walking a lot every single day. We fast forward to 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago I went to London. And I went to London on a vacation, nothing related to walking. I didn't even plan to exercise. I just wanted to see the city and play Dungeons and Dragons in a castle. Now, when you're in a new city that you are not acquainted with, what do? You go around the city. Taxis in London are expensive and their public transportation is great. So I decided against using a car to commute around the city and just walking around and using the public transport when I needed. The results of that was that I started walking a lot. And by a lot, I mean more than... Let me see, I don't know, actually. And when I say I was walking a lot, I mean I was doing between 15 and 25,000 steps every single day. I was dead tired every single evening, my feet were swollen, and they hurt like hell for the majority of the week. We fast forward to today. After I came back from London, so after 7 days of non-stop walking, I came back to Bulgaria and I found myself really wanting to walk. After this intense session of walking, in which I was doing 15 to 20,000 steps a day, and 20,000 steps a day is 10 times my regular amount, I came back and I was able to do 5 times my regular amount very easily. My baseline has shifted, my perspective has changed, and now 10,000 steps every single day was very little, because I was used to doing 20,000. And this is exactly what you can do in your own life to achieve similar results. Here is the framework. Step 1. Pick an activity you want to do more of. It doesn't matter what the activity is. I suggest picking something creative, but you know what, you want to progress with better than I do, so use your head. Step number 2 is commit to doing that activity intensely for at least a week. By intensely, I mean do this for at least 2 hours every single day, and if you want to see massive progress, try doing 4 or even 6. The more time you're able to put in that week, the higher your baseline will go, and you'll be able to do this longer without it tiring you. Step 3, do it very consistently. With most things, it's okay to skip a day or two. With this, you want to be perfectly consistent, because the change in your perspective is based on the volume. And for this volume to happen, you need that consistency. Now, the framework itself is quite simple, but there is one problem that you had. How do you sit down and do something for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours? This is difficult. I'll give you 3 tips to do that. Of course, if you're very disciplined, this would be easy for you, but if you were, you wouldn't be watching this video. And if you are, share a comment down below with how do you plan to do this. Next, tip number 1 to make this process easier. Pick 2 activities instead of 1 activity. So, for example, you want to do 4 hours of programming every single day. Instead of picking just programming as your main skill, pick another skill to complement it. Something fun, something that helps you relax. For example, I like playing with playing cards. So between the rounds of programming, you can play with playing cards. You can spend 15 minutes playing with cards and learning some cool trick with them. By resting in an active state, your brain will stay in flow for longer, and you'll be able to stay focused for a longer duration and spend ultimately more time in this critical week. Option 2 to make this process easier, work in sessions. The maximum amount you can stay focused for is about 90 minutes. So break your work into chunks of 90 minutes. You do a chunk of 90 minutes, then you do, let's say, 30 minutes of rest. Even longer rests are okay. You spend 30 minutes resting, doing something else, playing with the cards as I mentioned, or whatever you want. After that, you do another chunk of 90 minutes. You can do 2, 3, even 4 of those chunks in one single day to really fill out the day with this activity that you want to master. And the good thing about this is, even after this week of readjustment of shifting your worldview ends, you can continue using those 90-minute chunks. You might not want to do 3 or 4 of them in a single day, but you can still use them as a very effective tool to get work done. Now, the last way you can stay focused for so long is by having an accountability partner. Instead of doing this by yourself, find a friend and you keep each other accountable. So whenever you start working, you pick up your phone, call your friend, put your phone on a stand next to you so you can see each other, and you start doing your thing. It doesn't matter what your thing is, you just stay in this call. You don't use the call to talk to one another, you just use it to kind of have an eye on the other person. You don't need to follow them or pay extreme attention, you only need to have them in your peripheral vision. What that does, subconsciously, it pressures both of you to do more. Because you are now being observed, you want to look better in the eyes of others. And you're using this typically negative trait to actually do more and improve your life more. Share this video with one of your friends and give it a try. Now, before you click off and go succeeding somewhere, one important thing that is going to enable you to do this even better is understanding the mindset behind success. And this mindset has 5 pillars. If you want to learn more about them, click on that video and I'll explain them in about 4 minutes.